So what's up, guys? I'm gonna be doing another breakdown for you guys of all the most of the, not all of them, but most of the trades that we took on the live stream and on the Telegram channel, so you guys can see exactly why we took them and why we got out and all that stuff. So let's get to it. Alright, so we got this GJ sell setup, right? So why were we thinking about the sells? Just because price came back and was always retesting this level, right? So when a level keeps getting tested, it usually gets broken, right? So we have this level up here also that we would be willing to take longs on if it gets broken, right? So it's simple, right? What we're gonna wait for is this, right? Something like this to happen, to continue down and maybe catch this move over here. So that was the overall picture of what I wanted this trade to do. So we waited, right? We took an impulse entry sell, I believe, at the break of these lows right here. I believe my entry was, yeah, at the break of these lows. So I'm just gonna put my P&L right here just so you guys can keep track of it. I had a 10 pip stop loss, targeting our 1-to-1, right? So what did price do? Once I saw that we continued to test this, I had a buy stop order set right here. And now we waited, right? So now we're under this SMA, this 8 SMA, right? And what is price gonna do? Probably melt. So now we take these impulse entries, right? Boom. Price completely obliterated this zone like it wanted to do time and time and time, and then look at what it did last time. It obliterated, right? So history repeats itself on the charts. So what level can we target? We can target these lows over here, right? But what is price most likely gonna do? Price will most likely do this, right? Break out, come back for the retest, right? To continue melting. I took my profit right here. I closed 80% of my position and left a 2-lot runner to see if maybe it can continue down. But I knew that we had this support over here, so I didn't want to take the risk of leaving my position open and then taking this loss, right? So we put our stops to break even, and what did price eventually do? Price eventually stopped us out, right, at our break-even level, right there. So right there we were completely out of our trade. But what did price eventually do? It eventually continued down, right, to target these lows over here, this rejection work over here. So this is why you guys should always go back and look at your trades and see what you could have done better. So right here I shouldn't have put my stops at break even, but that's just my strategy, right? But next time I know that if I see this setup, I'll probably, instead of entering on the impulse, I would enter on that retest, right? So that retest will give me that confirmation that this resistance is now, well, this support has turned into a resistance to continue down, right? To continue a bearish movement. So price eventually came and tapped this 50 SMA, right? So what did price eventually do? I think price continued to just drop. Let me see. So yeah, this is a very strong level, right? So you could just come up here and wait for the test. This is a fake out to go long, right? So these are just fake out candles. This is where some people would just enter up here thinking it's going to hit the top of this range, but no. You got to wait for that confirmation, the closes above, and that volume to come in and push price up. So that was it for GJ, right? Could have targeted these lows over here, the same exact trade, right? But that was it for GJ. I'm going to go on and show you guys our gold break and retest trade that caught us almost 50 pips. Give me 1 second. Alright guys, so this is that gold trade I wanted to show you guys, right? So when I got to the charts, I saw that price was pretty much getting ready to break out of this zone. This zone right here, right? This resistance. But we're having trouble breaking this zone, correct? Right? So are we going to look to take these longs up here? No, there's just not enough range for us to take these longs. So we waited to see if price can form some support, right? So price is now above both our SMAs. We have this level over here also that we're bouncing off of, I believe on the 1 hour. Yeah, that we're rejecting on the 1 hour. So this is a strong level of support. So now we're bouncing off a strong level of support. And we're continuing up. With both SMAs in our favor, we rejected the 50 SMA. So what is price telling us? Price is telling us that it wants to continue up. So what are we going to wait for? We're going to wait for a break and retest of this zone. Right? So now we got that close we like. We got that close we like on this, above this zone. So what are we going to wait for? We're going to wait for that retest. Or maybe a Fibonacci long. Right? So we can draw a Fibonacci long from this high, from this low to this high. Why? Why do we draw our Fibonacci longs right here? Just because price had this impulse, right? An impulse means that price goes up with no rejections, with no bearish candles, right? With no trouble, just went straight up. Now if it gets broken, what do? We just move this up, right? Because it's not setting up yet. So we just move it up. Even if it continues to pump, we just move it up. So what are we going to wait for? We're going to wait for that retest of this zone over here. I believe our entry was right at this zone at our 50, right above our 50, I believe it was, with our 10 pip stop loss. 15 pip stop loss. And what are we going to target? We're going to target these highs up here. These highs up here. Right? So we're going to wait for that to set up. So what is this price going to do? This is going to, a lot of people would have entered up here, right? Because, oh my god, I missed the retest. But no, price hasn't even come back and tested this 8 SMA. The price always comes back and tests this 8 SMA. Even if you think you missed a move, right? It always comes back for that 8 SMA. So what are we going to wait for? We're going to wait for that. Right? So we tested it. And this is the exact entry you want to look for, right? So I believe I went down to the 5 minute here. And you see, now we're creating some support at this previous level of resistance. So that gives us our confirmation that this is going to go long. So right there, I entered my trade. And what did price eventually do? Right? Look at that. So now we're having trouble breaking this 8 SMA, correct? But we're above this 50 SMA. So the only reason why I would get out of this trade is if this 50 SMA gets broken on the 15 minute. On the 5 minute, I'm sorry. On the 5 minute. So what is price going to do? It's just going to continue up. Why? Because it's a break and retest of this zone. So now you see, price came back, tested this 50 SMA, but it didn't break it, right? So you should have total confidence that this trade is going to play out for you. Alright? Now we have 2 rejections to this 50 SMA. So what is price telling you that it's going to do? It's just going to continue up. Alright, so we went. And our TP was eventually smashed up here. This was a simple trade, right? A Fibonacci setup with our break and retest strategy. This trade had actually, okay, let's count the confluences, right? So we have this support, 1 hour support being held, right? That we've rejected and we're moving away from, right? We have this strong level of resistance being broken, right? To the upside. Now we have this break and retest in confluence with our Fibonacci long to continue up. So now and on top of that, we're bouncing right off the 8 SMA. So these are the type of trades I want you guys to be taking, just because they have a high probability of going up. When you have this many confluences to one trade, it's going to work 70% of the time, 80% of the time. So just whenever you guys see a setup like this happening, wait for that Fib retracement, wait for that SMA bounce, wait for all these confluences to match all together, wait for the higher time frames to tell you, okay, price wants to continue up, right? Right after we saw this 4 hour close above all this, we knew that price was going to continue up, right? So price eventually came, hit our TP1, and continued flying. I took 80% of my position up here. Why? Because it was two times our risk. So why not? I'm happy with my profits. So that was our gold trade. Beautiful gold trade that we took. Live on Zoom, man. This was on our Zoom. This wasn't on our YouTube. If you want to get the Zoom, you guys got to go to my Telegram, and I always drop the link there. So don't miss out, man. This is free value we give you guys live. And we manage our trades live. We see what we did wrong. Even if on our losses, we take our losses and we analyze them and we figure out how to be better next time. You know, we're not this game. You're gonna lose in this game, but there's ways of doing everything possible to reduce our risk and reduce our losses, right? The only way you're gonna do that is if you go back and you journal and you look at the trades you took and you see what happened during the trade. Win or loss, you should always go back and see what happened. So now I believe I'm going to show you guys our Gbpusd trade that we called last night. So let me get to that one. Alright guys, so on this Gbpusd trade that we called last night, right? So I actually called 3 trades last night on this same pair. Why did I call 3 trades? Because our first entry, right? Our first entry, first of all, I get to the charts, right? We're ranging. Clear range, right? So, at around, I think it was like 11 o'clock, I call a Gbpusd longs at the bottom of this support. Once I saw a rejection right here. So this was my longs, right? Right over here. To continue up, all I wanted was this 15 pip move. I had a 12 pip stop loss, right? And what did price eventually do? Price, why did it do this to me? Just because I didn't wait for that confirmation, right? That confirmation of this candle closure with the break of these highs, right? So look at what price eventually did. Right there, I should have managed my risk. I should have gotten out 50% of my position. And look at what price did. It stopped me out. It stopped me out by less than a pipette. I believe my entry was a little bit more up here. Yeah, that was around my entry. I had a 12 pip stop loss, and it literally wicked my stop loss. I'm never gonna hide the losses I take from you guys. It's all on the Telegram, so how am I gonna hide it from you guys, you know? That was a negative 12 pip stop loss. So what did I do? I waited, right? I waited for maybe a breakout of these lows, right? If price comes and breaks these lows, I believe price will continue down, right? But we didn't take that trade, right? We were waiting for this. So what did price do? Once I saw price closing inside of this range, right? I saw price closing inside of this range. So what did I eventually do? I was like, okay, this is just a fake out, right? So since this is the fake out, we got a bullish engulfing on the 15 minute, right? Now we wait for this break of these highs over here, right? Something like this. We're gonna have a 15 pip stop loss on this one just because we know exactly what happened last time, right? So price might come and break these lows, but still continue up. It wicked it. So that just means that zone is a rejection area, just like it rejected over here and it rejected over here, right? So now look at what we got. Price eventually came and hit our 1-on-1. So then I also took another setup, right? So let's just leave this right over here. I took another setup on this same pair. I believe it was, I called it right above this zone over here. Right above this zone. With a 10 pip stop loss on this one. So, why did I call this setup? Because we were ranging, right? Accumulating the orders, accumulating. So what is price going to do after it accumulates the orders? It's going to have a great push up, right? So, TP1 would be right at these levels. Why did I put it at this level? Because it's previous support. Here we could see some rejection. Here we could see price trying to pull back, right? And maybe hitting our break even. So this is where we want to secure some profits, right? About 30 pips up. So, right, what did we do? Waited for close above, right there. So we would have entered on this impulse entry at the break of these highs. Why did we enter at the break of these highs? Because it's breaking all these highs, right? Now the only thing that scared me on this trade was this minor level of resistance, right? This minor level of resistance shows that price could come up and reject it, right? I saw some rejection up here. I saw this 50 SMA getting bounced on. I was like, okay, maybe we should preserve some capital for Friday. So what did I do? I cut 50% of my position, which was probably the dumbest thing I could have ever done. But look at what price did. My analysis was still right. Price eventually came, retested this zone, right? If you go down to the 5 minute, you'll see it clear, right? So price broke out of the zone, right? Came back down, retested. What is price going to do next? Continue up, right? So now you see, now we were getting that reactions at these levels that I did not like, but price eventually still flew up, and it was NFP, so you could just imagine what price did, right? This was my TP1. I had like a 1 lot on this trade, just because I didn't want to take a dumb loss on a Friday at the end of the day. I was already up my 1%. But that's okay. Like, money management will get you a long, long way in this game, right? Because it's not always gonna play out in your favor, right? So just stick to your risk management. Even as soon as you start feeling a little iffy about the trade, you should already be thinking about cutting 50% of your position. Just because you don't want price to reverse on you and hit your stop loss with a full position, right? You always want to make sure that if you go into drawdown after being 5, 10, 12 pips in profit, you want to make sure that you cut 50% at break even. Just because you've been in profit and now price is rejecting profit, right? So price is rejecting your entry. So we don't want that. So what did price eventually do? Price eventually came back a little down, retested the level, and then look, an 80 pip move. 80 pip move we called on the YouTube, right? And then we still had a 1 lot runner on this one to continue up. 105 pips. That was the banger for the week, honestly. This was NFP news. A lot of reason why this trade went great, right? And you can look, if you look at the DXY, you can tell why this trade went amazing, right? Because we're GBP versus the US dollar. Now look at what the dollar did. After rallying so high, right? Price came down very, very strong and very, very fast. So that's another reason why it helped us out in this trade, right? So, yep. We secured some positions over here. Secure positions here. Wasn't able to secure positions up here. But I did secure positions up here when I woke up. So yeah, that was our Gbpusd trade. That was honestly the banger of the week, if I'm being honest. And look at this. If you on the 15 minute, right? So what did I tell you on the last trade? Right? This impulse, right? Price had no trouble coming up here. And look at that golden zone entry, man. So even if you didn't take the breakout, you can just take this golden zone entry. Right? What is the golden zone entry? The 50 and the 618. Thanks to my mentor for teaching me that, you know, like Daniel Savage, Duncan, man. I look up to them when just because of how they see the charts and how they look at this Fibonacci, man. This Fibonacci is a fucking game changer, man. Especially with these levels. These levels are game changers, man. As long as you know how to draw it, you should have no problem with the Fibonacci. Of course, nothing's for sure in trading. Nothing's 100% probable of happening, but it's very high probability when it bounces off this 50 and the 618 area. It has that crazy impulse up, man. Crazy impulse up. So I'm gonna go through. I want to end the video off on showing you guys a loss. So let me go on let me check the Telegram to show you guys where I took a loss. Alright guys, so this is the loss we took on Euro USD. And honestly, there's two reasons why I lost this trade. One, there's not too many confluences, right? Only one confluence to this trade. Two, we're battling previous support, right? And three, we traded this in the Asian session. A Euro USD pair in the Asian session. Meaning, none of those markets are open. Why the hell was I even trading this pair, right? But it's okay though, because we made it all back on the other trades I showed you guys earlier. But I wanted to make sure that that I go through the losses with you guys to help you guys with your losses. Because there's gonna be losses in the beginning, there's gonna be wins. And the losses hurt more than the wins, right? So let's figure out how to cut down the losses and make sure our wins run, right? So let's see. So the reason why I took this trade, right, was I saw that we broke out of this resistance, right? Broke out of this resistance, and we made a resistance, right? Made this resistance up here. So what did I think price was gonna do, right? What we always look for, man, a break, right? I didn't wait for the break, so I paid for that, right? Patience pays, boys. Patience pays, for real. You guys gotta make sure you work on your patience and your consistency in this game. So what did I see price doing? I was like, okay, price broke out of this range. I'm gonna wait for that retest to come back here to continue up. So what did price eventually do? Price eventually came back for that retest, right? This was my entry right over here on these wicks. And this 8 SMA bounce, it looked clean, man. It looked clean. I had a 15 pip stop loss. Or a 10 pip stop loss. Yeah, I had a 10 pip stop loss. Right at this rejection over here. Right? So I had a 10 pip stop loss. I said, okay, price is doing a break and retest, man. This is my trade. Bouncing off of 8 SMA, Fibonacci long. Right? But with my strategies, I need that volume. I need that volatility to come in and push my price up. If not, it doesn't work, right? So always make sure you watch the times you're trading, man. Because there's certain times that there is no volume. This is Asian session. This is Asian session trading here, right? So look at what Asian session trading does. Right? I'm like, okay, shit, we're in profit. SMAs are crossing. Fibonacci long. Bouncing off the 50 and the 618. But we could never break this zone. You guys are going to see. You see? Never broke this zone. This is when I should have cut half of my position. Right? Once I saw this rejection to this zone. I should have cut half of it. Just because I know price isn't ready to break that zone. Especially in the Asian session. In the Asian session trades, make sure that you're going to trade the range, right? Don't trade no breakouts on the Asian session. Trade the range. Just because of the fact that there is no volatility, there is no volume to break those strong supports and those strong resistance, right? So make sure that in the Asian session trading, just trade the range, man. We always range during the Asian session. Always range during the Asian session. Always range through the Asian session, right? So, what did price do? Eventually, I was in this trade for like 6 hours, man. But we never made it to London session. And even though if London session would have came, I would have gotten obliterated. I'll show you right now. So I was like, damn, I should have been completely out of this trade after I saw this crazy range, right? We ranged for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hours. I was in this trade for so long. Right? Price eventually came. This is when I should have cut another 50% of my position, right? So I would have been completely out of my trade with good risk management. But I really thought this trade wanted to go up just because of this bullish movement, right? Price was just retracing a bit to continue up. That's what I thought. But I was wrong, right? And the charts were telling me I was wrong, and I just ignored it. So never ignore the charts. Always follow price action, boys. Look at that. Price went eventually, as soon as the volatility started coming in, at 12 o'clock, right? 12 o'clock hit, and boom, we got stopped out. We got stopped out. Why did we get stopped out? Multiple reasons, right? We broke our SMAs. We broke this level of support we created. We rejected this level of resistance. What else, right? This could be this previous level of support, right? We're holding. See? There are 5 reasons why I lost this trade, right? But if you lose and you take a trade and you lose and you don't go back and look at why you lost that trade, you will continue losing. That's just the cold hard truth, man. You will continue losing your trades just because you don't journal, you don't go back, you don't see why you lost, you don't, like, it's basic shit, man. Like, you can easily see why you lost a trade or why you won a trade, right? So just always go back and look at your trades, even if it's a loss, even if it's a loss, and even if it's a win. Always go back and make sure your trade was on point, right? Or how you can see to be better next time, and you see it clear, right? In hindsight, you see everything clear. You will see that your trades sometimes are a little rocky, right? How can you get those better entries? How can you manage your risk better? How can you figure out for then the next time when these same situations happen? Because the charts give you same setups every time, man. Not every time, but most of the time you're going to see shit that you've already seen before due to the time you spent on these charts. So just make sure that you always go back and journal, man. And I hope, and another thing, guys, like it takes a while to get this game down, right? Some people do it in 4 months. Some people do it in 5 years, right? So just stick to the long game. And as long as you get 1% better every single day, you will be 3.65 times better for next year, okay? And if you push that 1% to 2%, guess what? You're 6 times better. So just stick through it, man. And you got this, dude. Honestly. I believe in all my students. I believe in all you guys. And I appreciate you guys supporting me. You guys don't understand how happy this makes me. Like, I love this shit. So might as well just help other people that are going through the same thing that I went through a couple months back, right? So just stick through it, work hard, and you will see the light at the end of the tunnel, because it's a tunnel. Let me tell you, losses at the beginning of, let's say, 3 months, you're into it and you're taking loss after loss after loss after loss after loss, right? Until you finally say, hey man, fuck this, I'm not losing anymore. Why am I losing? That's when you take the trades, right? That's when you look back at your trades, and that's when the real growth starts coming in. So just keep that in mind, everyone. I appreciate you guys coming. Please like and subscribe. We're gonna be coming out with all this value every single week, every single day. So just tune in, man. This is just the beginning, bro. So I appreciate you guys being here in the beginning. You guys won't regret it. I love doing this show. Have a great day, guys. And get better at trading. Always find a way to get better at trading. This is a never-ending school, never-ending education. You can always get better. Good night, guys.